is your boy Mike, and this is hard. This one sucks. This I don't know, man. I don't know. This one sucks. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna hold you guys, man. This one absolutely sucks. Um, if you like just watched my Raptor videos, I am a huge Pascal fan. I really am. I'm not even gonna lie. You know, during my times of wanting to be this amazing cabbie on the street type reporter. I always loved the Raptors. I always wanted to talk to Raptors, and now I do it for on the side for fun because I love chatting about the Raps. I love talking to people who love talking about the Raps. I love knowing the guys that I've known in the spaces like um like a Samson, like a Amit, like a Vivek, maybe mentioning a Blake or a Sean Wood. Like I like it. I love it. I love knowing these guys. I like that everyone loves basketball the way I love basketball. It's uh it's painful. It's actually painful. What and not you gotta take away the emotion side of it and just know it's just a business and it's just a game ultimately, but you do truly get invested in these guys. And I told myself not to bring up, like, I wasn't going to bring the emotional side of things so early. I actually told myself not to do all that, but I guess I did already. And I think it's all because of, it's such a bad example, and I know that it is. Mind you, I'm still gonna give it. It's a bad example. But when you have like children and you saw them grow up, it's hard to see them go. And I think it's more like we as people grow every year, grow every day, whatever. If we have the opportunity to continue growing mentally, physically, all that stuff, we grow. So we were witnessing Pascal Siakam grow in front of us. He was drafted 27th overall in a 2016 draft. That he's probably still the best player. We can say, well, Jaylen Brown is like probably the best player, but like Pascal's probably the second best player on the draft. And a lot of teams probably rather Pascal or like I don't know. It's not Brandon Ingram. It's not Sabonis. Sabonis has been amazing this season, but it's not. It's Pascal. He's the only one with. Well, now Jamal does, but like he was the only one in the draft that had a title. Um, I think that draft really drafted a lot of number twos. Him, Ingram, Murray, Brown, a lot of number twos. When you just see these guys, like you invest in these guys, like mentally, emotionally, and you're like, man, this guy's growing. 27th overall pick was a starter from the beginning. He started over Patrick Patterson. I'm like, oh, this guy, he's gonna be a very good energy guy. Like that's what we all saw. We didn't see the flashes of what we have seen today. It was like the bench mob years that we started going like, okay, even the thought of who would you rather continue to build around him or OG, it was clearly Pascal. Pascal was the better player, and he's been the better player. So that's the guy you wanted to see continue. And then he became an NBA champion, of course, one most improved. And you're like, man, what a journey. Like you don't hear that a lot. A guy's performance grow to that level, especially at such a low pick. I could be wrong when I say it, but like, is he not a top? He's probably a top 15 a best pick of all time. Like the best pick of all time is Nikola Jokic. He's the best draft pick of all time. You don't count basically the lottery picks as best draft picks of all time because simply put, you pick them to become those. That's why you pick them top 10 or top 14, mainly to be a number two or number one guy on your team, especially number one. Number one pick is not the best, obviously. Like, obviously, Kareem is supposed to be something, LeBron, Tim Duncan, Iverson, even like top five, like you expect them to be your number one guy. That's why you did it. The best draft picks are the ones that like Ginobili, Parker, like Kawhi Leonard. Well, Kawhi Leonard was actually a mid pick, like at the time, but anyone who's a low pick that ends up being good, like that's good, man. It's really good. And with Pascal, we just didn't know that, right? We picked Jakob Pertl higher. We picked technically OG higher. Like in that draft, Yak was the guy that we're like, oh, Yak, but then we ended up having two better players than him and Fred VanVleet. So we saw him grow to a two-time All-NBA. The thing is, he was a better Raptor. If Raptors won like 45 games, Pascal's a three-time All-NBA player. He would have got it over Julius Randle. He just would have. He would have got it over Julius Randle. But the team wasn't good enough last year for multiple reasons. There's no point of diving into it, especially in this iteration of the conversation. Like he would have been the guy. He just would have been the guy. So he would have been a three-time All NBA player. But for some reason, Masai and everybody else just did not want. They just didn't believe in the future. They just didn't believe in the future of him, and it's unfortunate. Now I'm just scrolling through Twitter just to see because you never know. I'm kind of expecting like a Bruce Brown like trade, but I don't I don't know. I'm expecting some Bruce Brown trade. It probably won't happen, but yeah, that's what I expect. But let me tell you, I didn't think I was gonna talk Pascal so early. Honestly, I just think it sucks. Like I know some people are. I know some Raptor fans hate it. They don't like the deal. They don't like the deal. Raptor fans hate the deal. But some Raptor fans are, they're like, oh, good, we're starting fresh, starting new. And my thing, like, I'm being nostalgic and I'm being like, I'm trying to hold on to the pieces of the championship, and I can see all that, right? I do believe this is probably the best thing for the future, but I also believe this is the best thing last year. This is the best thing you should have done last year. I also think you should have re-signed Pascal and then traded him next year. I do believe that his value would have been higher. I think the Kings would have made probably Keegan Murray more available, or the Indiana Pacers would have made a Nemhard or Mathurin more available because it would have been like, okay, we're not sure if they're that guys. I don't want. I don't really want to grade it, but I do believe Indiana won the trade in the sense they got the better player and they still kept all their guys. I think that's what makes them win the trade. They kept Jarris Walker, who, if we got Jarris Walker, I'd be much happier with this trade. Or Nemhard or Mathurin. I would have been much happier. I'm actually glad we didn't get a Mathurin. I don't believe adding a guard to this already guard like team. I don't think it would have helped, especially if he wants to get his touches. If Toronto if Toronto wants to build the team around Scotty and IQ, especially those two, you can't have like you have to have a lot more role players around them. That's almost okay with the draft picks, but let me even say the draft pick, as much you already know, it's Pascal Siakam to the Indiana Pacers for Kira Lewis Jr. from the Pelicans because he got traded, whatever. Kira Lewis Jr., Bruce Brown, Jordan Nwora, and three first round picks. 2026 is 1 to 4 protected, and these two are probably going to be low picks. Now, how do we get Pascal? Like, Pascal was a low pick. OG wasn't a low pick. Norm was a low pick. DeLon Wright was a lower pick. So to me, I get why. Like, but you're also banking on the fact, if you're the Raptors head office, you're banking on the fact that you think that you know Pascal, you're gonna replicate what you did before. You're gonna find a Pascal again. You're gonna find a Norm again. You're gonna find a DeLon Wright. You're gonna find a Jakob. Oh, not Jakob was a high pick. Or find an undrafted Fred VanVleet. Like you're banking on this. Like you're thinking this is gonna happen again. What OKC did it, and like I don't know how they did it, but they drafted well again. But also you drafted like number 2 overall picks. You didn't find hidden gems in the draft. Like also remember that. But and mind you, they just did it again twice, which they did with the KDs, the Westbrooks and the Hardens. They never won a title. They were really good. They didn't win a title. Now you have a better team in OKC with the Chets, the J Dubs, the Shays. So you're hoping Toronto does the same thing because you're thinking we believe Emmanuel quickly will have, and I do. I don't think it'll be this year, but I do see Emmanuel quickly having that Tyrese Maxey type leap. I'm already picking like a most improved nomination for a quickly. RJ Barrett, I'll talk about it in not in this pod, but probably in a different pod. I I I need the other shoe to drop now. Like I need what Nick fans have been saying about RJ Barrett to drop now because I see it. I see the Star J. Like I see it. I'm like, whoa, like he's so talented. Like he's incredibly talented. His ability to draw fouls, his ability to drive down the lane. I also, this team is way more unselfish. They're way more about the let's get the best play. They're always running the point 0.5 offense, especially they're top three in assists. I think they're third actually in assists. So this team was getting better. Like RJ commented to a reporter saying, like, wow, like this is how this team is. Like, we're gonna pass the ball this much. Like New York wasn't like that. Way more, Randall and Brunson heavy. We'll pass it to the guys when they're open, whatever. There's a way more like everyone's gonna get their touches. We're gonna need you to bail us out when need be. But it's crazy to me that like when he's just so good. Like he's to me he's very talented. But we have to wait and see. Like I said, I'm waiting to see for the shoe to drop to RJ Barrett. But yeah, the trade we could have got more for Pascal. Pascal's an all NBA player. And then what everyone's saying is you traded your first round pick. So you traded your first round pick, which please, I hope you guys are not. So look, I want you guys to be bad enough to keep the pick, but I also want you guys not to be bad enough because like I want the Spurs to have the fucking pick. Let them have the pick. Give them the pick. Let them have the pick. So I'm almost okay with you guys winning some games. Like, and I hope you get like the eighth pick. Like, I don't want the pick. I give it to the Spurs because I don't want to be held hostage with this dumb pick. I really don't. Give them the pick. So even so, you still have 2 first-round picks and you have the number 1 overall pick in the second round. So you have already are about to build 3 new guys on your team next year. So I understand it, from liking this whole thing. I like it because of the fact that you have your 3 guys that you're invested in, and you're going to invest in them in the future. Because, IQ's contract, you're going to pay him. You're going to pay him probably 20 plus mil. You're going to pay him. I think they believe in him. They're going to pay him. Then you have RJ Barrett, who's going to be paid. And then you have a guy who's about to sign his rookie extension, and it'll be probably next year when he signs it in a Scotty Barnes. So you have your 3 guys. So now you're really building around them. Now you have a guy like Gary Trent, and I'll talk about like the future of a Bruce Brown, a Gary Trent, all that stuff. You have a Gary Trent, so he's still 23. Right now, this team is now we're going young, right? We're going young. We're going real young, under 25 type, you know. So then I see with these draft picks, you have like I said, you have those guys, and we'll talk about Jakob as well. You have these young guys, plus you have Gary. You also have Grady Dick, who I'm not sure, is he your future shooting guard? Is he your backup shooting guard? What is Grady Dick in the future? Where does he fall into all these things? You want him. He actually, as a recorder, he had a really good game. He shot really well. So with Grady Dick, you believe in him too. So it's kind of like it's kind of looking well for their future. And then you add these 3 new young guys, which I would assume you may get a flyer on one of them because I have 3 picks. You get a flyer for one of them. You get a guy who can immediately impact you now, like the way that Yame Hawk has impacted the Heat. Like you got a guy who can do that, and then you may go for like a mid swing type of guy for that 31st pick, or the guy who really just fell down the lottery. You go with that person next. So that's how I see it as well. So to me, you're literally building your future, and then I get why you do it because that's what you did before. You built a DeLon Wright to be traded with a Jonas Valanciunas at the time for a Marc Gasol. You traded a Terrence Ross, who's like your 8th overall pick, for a Serge Ibaka. Like you built the bench unit who further brought you success to NBA title, and then to like you did that all. Like I get it. Jakob Poeltl was one of the guys that you had to trade for with DeMar DeRozan to get you there. So maybe it's one of those young guys you get with RJ Barrett that makes you trade for a Jalen Williams. I don't know. I'm just saying, that's like 3 years from now. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's what you do. You're trying to replicate what you did in the past, because what you did in the past with guys like Scotty and everyone else, you have a longer pathway. We had 1 title with 2019. We were successful for like 10 years. But with this young core, we have a better chance of being successful because they're going to be young. You don't got to pay them. And it's a much easier to go through this whole time. So I do think that's a good thing to build around this core, But like I said, what everyone's arguing is you traded a first round pick and what you believe was a weaker draft, and a lot of people have said it's a weaker draft, to only now have potentially 3 draft picks here in the first round, or if not 2 first round draft picks in the lower half, because it's going to be under 20, most likely, probably 118 and maybe the rest like 27th or something. Then you'll have the 31st pick. So you're going to be a hella active. And now Raptor fans are going to have to start looking at the draft board. I saw one real quick that was like a DJ Wagner. I would love to have a DJ Wagner. He fell off the draft board really quick. This guy was at one point the number 1 overall pick. So I'm hoping people do their draft study. I do my draft study. He was the number 1 overall pick. He was a guy that his dad, because I think he's a junior, was like this guy was about to be better than LeBron. This guy was ranked better than LeBron at one point. So that gene pool is nice. Wagner was supposed to be something special, It's just like how I said it before. If Raptors had that second round, I'll be going for Imani Bates. I'm going for the upside. I'm going for upside. I'm going for the guys that like that people were talking about. I like Jaden Hardy. Jaden Hardy was a guy people were chatting about. And when you have that, you go with it. You generally go with it. But that's the trade right now. A lot of people, like I said, don't like it. Nawara is probably like just a bench guy, being a 10-minute bench guy who sometimes can like shoot well, but hasn't shot well this season. Hasn't really played a lot this season, but he can be a physical guy. Bruce Brown, the thing is, I would agree to trade him. I know already there's reports that the Knicks like him. So there's already like an easier Knicks you trade him to the Knicks. Trade him to the Knicks for Grimes. Look, you really got like the Toronto Knicks over here, but you get Grimes, who's young. He could be, and I know, I swear the Knicks really loved Grimes in the beginning and didn't want to trade this guy, but now I think they see something different. Now, I'm looking at like my Twitter timeline, and it keeps changing to more Pascal and Breathe the North comments, which is really good. I saw that Woj tweeted, so I was just like, okay, let me see why Woj tweeted, but it was actually to shout out the Raptors and Darko. R.I.P. I'm gonna say his name wrong, but the assistant coach who passed away. R.I.P. to him and his family, to the Warriors organization, to the Serbian community. Like, you guys lost a good one. I didn't know much about him, but you only hear good things, which is a special thing to hear. May he rest in peace. May his family. I pray for everyone to be okay. Shouts out to Darko for the first play of the game being the play that he stole from him. That's and we scored, so that's the heavens shining on you. Now, so what I was saying, like I was looking at Twitter for Bruce Brown, right? Like, if we could trade him for a Quentin Grimes, now you look at that trading. You said you traded Pascal for a Quentin Grimes, who everybody likes, so a future shooting guard, and then you traded for Grimes and then 3 first-round picks. Pretty good, right? If you can get someone else, that'd be great. But I don't really think I'm also not trading. I'm also getting another pick. I'm trying to see if the Knicks will give me a pick. Like, I know right now Masai's like, we'll trade Bruce Brown, but we want a pick. Well, if we're taking Evan Fournier and his horrible contract, give me a pick. Give me a pick and I'll do it. And then hopefully, because it's a really bad asset, give me the pick. So now you have, now for Pascal, you've traded 4 first-rounders and then Quentin Grimes. So then you're a little bit happier. You got 4 first-rounders. You're building your draft capital, and then you also have a young player in Grimes. That's a much better, especially if you didn't get a Nemhard, a Mathurin, a Walker. Heck, you didn't get a Moody. You didn't get a Kaminga. You didn't get none. You didn't get none. So it sucks, and that's why I know Raptor fans are a little bit perturbed about what they gained back. But if you can flip Bruce Brown for someone, because I know someone's interested, that's good. To me, I'm trying to flip him right away. Like, Bruce Brown, thank you so much. We took a picture of you and said, thank you, Bruce Brown. Honestly, don't come here. Don't come to Toronto. Do not. Don't even pack your bags. Stay in Indiana. We are trading you again. That's what I would say. We're trading. So you're going to bring this guy on. He'll play 10 games, and then you're going to trade him again? Like, no, Bruce Brown, no, fuck it. Stay there. Now, if you keep him, I do think Bruce Brown could be a really good energy guy. I think if you start him, he could be a guy that you can stay on your best defender. He's not the greatest defender, but he's active enough. And but if he's on your bench, like your bench is like Bruce Brown's the type of guy that will help you be down 15 and come back from a deficit. He's that guy. So I think Bruce Brown can be really good for the squad in that sense. So I'm really do hoping that the Raptors, do something in regards to that. Like I said, Bruce Brown should be staying in Indiana, and you trade him, and it doesn't have to be the Knicks. It could be anyone, any like contender. I think would want a Bruce Brown. He literally just won a title. They only got to trade 14 million back. So if you trade 14 million back, that could be two young guys. Honestly, it can be someone. Heck, OKC, you have so much young guys. If you got a Bruce Brown, how wouldn't that help you? How not having a Bruce Brown, what's his name, a Dort, like having all those guys on your squad not help you overall. So that's something that I would really think about and want to see. Um, I'll see. There's so much to talk about. Another thing I want to mention, of course, is that this was pretty ugly. You know, this breakup wasn't a great breakup. It's multiple reports that Pascal wanted to stay. There's a gazillion reports that Pascal wants to stay. It seemed like Toronto just stopped talking to him and his group and just said, hey, like, no. Pascal also he said, like, I'm not re-signing with the team. I do think he'll resign with Indiana. When he starts playing with Halliburton, he's gonna love it. He's gonna see the love that Indiana is gonna have for him. Halliburton's the guy. Like that's the guy that people believe is a top 15 player. Now he's playing a top 15 player. He's playing with Miles Turner, like a stretch big. Like Pascal's borderline playing with the best team he could play with. Honestly, like this is a perfect team. Like that's why I really liked getting quickly and on RJ, they were good for basketball, but this is a perfect team. You have shooters around you. You have a shooting big who Toronto fans have been asking for since forever. Like you have a this is the best team. You have Miles Turner, and I think every Raptor fan dream was a Miles Turner for Pascal. Like dream, that's it's a dream. But this ended ugly. Pascal wanted to stay. Masai didn't want to stay. Masai's going to talk very soon. As I record this, I'm hoping Masai. I hope Masai like almost apologizes for the way he treated Pascal. I think it's just like he treated an All NBA guy like so poorly, and it's just like, and I said it multiple times. The way they were talking about it being Scotty's team was borderline like disrespectful to the Fred and the nurses and the Pascal at the time. Like even a little bit of an OG at the time. I truly think that's what the clash was. The young guys versus the old guys was basically saying like, Scotty's our was rookie of the year. He's our future. Fuck you guys. I don't care about you guys. He's our future. I don't care. I don't care what you guys have to say to me. Scotty Barnes is our number one guy. We're building around him. Fred, if you don't wanna stay, then bye. Like the moment you guys felt that way, you guys should have traded him. You should have traded Pascal from the beginning of the season, or his trade value would have been higher then too. Like you shouldn't have dragged it this long, and there was so much reports going out. It was almost just disgusting, even to the thought that like Shams posted it, and then it happened, and then like it didn't happen. Like it just got posted, and then like what else happened? I see Bruce Brown is trending. Maybe he's just trending because he's going to Toronto, but yeah, it's the same stuff. It's the same stuff. Like the yeah, nothing. See, look, the Knicks are dangling Queen Grimes, Evan Fournier, and the draft compensation for a potential upgrade. How do you not? How does that not say it's Bruce Brown? Yeah, yeah. There's no way it's not. I truly think Bruce Brown's getting traded. You have to look at it like that. Bruce Brown's getting traded. See, there's no way the Raptors are keeping him. Yeah, like I said, it was ugly. The next thing is it has to be. It's Scotty's team now. Scotty's your team, and I see people saying like, "Don't let's not put pressure on Scotty." Nah, we're gonna put pressure on Scotty. We have no choice. You've given us no choice. We must put pressure on Scotty. That's the guy you want to build around. You must put pressure on Scotty. I'm sorry. You have to put pressure on Scotty, IQ, and Barrett. You have to. Not this season, but here's the thing. The way I see it is that this team next year will be OKC from last year. So a good team, you see the future. The second year will be OKC this year. So I'm not expecting Toronto to be a top three team. Expecting to be a play-in, like a 7 to 8 team next year, with added pieces and things like that. I'm expecting to be like that. So That's what I would want to see. But the following year, oh yeah. You're telling me Scotty 25, RJ 25, and IQ 25. So now we're all 25 years old, guys. Nope. Yep. And we have a bunch of those young guys in their second years. Yeah. I'm expecting it. I'm expecting it. 1,000%. I'm expecting them to be better. Listen, not next season, the following season. I'm expecting them to be much better, of course. But it's Scotty's team, and we have to push it. I told myself not to go too long, but of course I gotta. This team is team under 25. You have to do it. Um. So, like I said, Bruce Brown got to be traded. Gary Trent Jr. I think if you can somehow trade him to, I don't know, like, I don't know anymore. I'm okay if honestly resign him. I'm okay. He's not going to demand a lot. He'll be 18 mil a guy. I think, I think it's okay if he starts too. So I can see it. He's also 23. Fits your timeline perfectly. The man hit 7 of 8 last game. So if he can be consistent, be a 38 to 40% 3-point shooter, I don't see why he wouldn't be on your team. Like I said, he's young, all those things. You may not just not want to pay him like that, but I like him. I don't know. I don't know where the deal is. I before thought like, especially if you kept Pascal, if you can trade a Gary for like two lower usage versions of Gary, I would be like perfect. Like two guys, like I said, trained for Washington for some of their shooters, like that would be perfect to me. So, but I don't know where Gary goes if he stays. My thing is, if you're not going to resign him, you have to trade him. Don't let Gary just leave. You must trade Gary. Let's not like you must trade Gary if you don't want to resign him, you must trade him. Jakob Pertl. I do think Jakob could fit on this team, but it's probably better. I keep hearing that Brooklyn wants to build, like they want to build around like Mikal, which is crazy if you think about it sometimes, but like if you want to build around them, okay, we'll trade you Yak, give us Claxton. We need probably probably like Dimwitty for contract reasons. But Dimwitty's shooting the worst in the league. Like, I don't know, you have to do something, but I'm probably in my podcast with my boy YS, the DM podcast. Make sure you guys subscribe and watch, follow. Um, I'm probably going to give him some trade picks, like some trades and what could happen. So yeah, so I do think like you got to go that Yak. I like I said, OKC is the biggest one that I would trade Yak to because they need a guy like Yak. He may not play in the final minutes, but he's a good defender. It gives Chet the ability to play the four. You can have lineups with Shea, Dort, uh, J Dub, Chet, and Pirtle. That's a really good starting five. I like that. I like that start five. I think it would be good. You got to trade Chris Boucher and you got to trade Dennis Schroeder. You have to. You have to trade them. If like Dennis is a really good backup, but I know a lot of teams would like a Dennis, especially teams that are close to that championship window. I wouldn't like. I don't see why the Lakers wouldn't try to bring him back. He plays well with them. He's another good kind of guy to have. So I can see a Dennis trade. But the writing on the wall, Yak really left the Spurs to now join another rebuilding team. Find a way to trade Yak too. Uh, but yeah, I think it's one of those things we just have to start looking at our guys and saying, okay, everyone's on the table. And I also think like you don't try to swindle anyone now. Don't try to always win. Just try to build around this team. Build around the three guys. Get some draft capital and just build around the three mans. Like that's what you want. Build around them. I'm fully okay with Gary Trent being there as well, especially if you're gonna resign him. Then you have the chance to resign him now. You have cap space. I didn't even mention the cap space. You have 30 million to play with, and it's this even with you resigning quickly. You have 30 million to play with. I'm the type one of those people is maybe don't play with it this year because the people available. It's funny enough, you're two Raptor guys and OG and Pascal. If you can swindle the world and somehow get Pascal back, that'd be perfect. I know I'm just being a troll, but like I would love to have Pascal back on the team. I'm not gonna lie, but I do think he's gonna stay with Indiana. Once he starts playing with this guy, he's gonna like it too much. But yeah, like to me, you built with this team. You trade some of the older guys, get draft capital for the next three drafts, and like you build this team the best way you can. around those three guys. You believe in Quickly, you believe in RJ. Imagine like if you're Emmanuel Quickly, you leave the New York Knicks to go to Toronto to be basically told that we believe that you're the number two guy. The moment that open gym video you see at Bridger is talking to Quickly, and he says like you would fit well with Scotty. Never mentioned Pascal, so that they were always going to ship Pascal. Like I said, this was ugly. I think Masai didn't handle this well at all. It's I think if he's honest with himself, he can realize he didn't. He just did. But also when this stuff happened, there's only a way to handle this ugly. Pascal wanted to stay, and you didn't want him to stay. So it was only going to end ugly. Only going to end ugly this way. It's funny that the last thing I wanted to do was talk about how much I like Pascal, and I almost kind of did it in the beginning. So I'll just want to like lastly say, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment. But also Pascal Siakam, man. Honestly, like only if he knew how much fans this guy actually had. I feel like the people who didn't like Pascal honestly didn't watch basketball a lot. If you're a basketball purist, you would have really liked Pascal. If I'm being honest, like I think people who don't like Pascal just don't like the way his game is. But now everyone's like, oh, he will fit so well with Halliburton. He's gonna be a perfect number two. He's gonna score 24 points a game, have like 8 assists. Like now everyone's talking so much greatness of Pascal. But to me, they never built this team properly around Pascal. And even Pascal or OG or Fred, and remember, those are the three guys we were building with, and they never built them properly. You should have had a shooting big. I like Pirtle. They should have never got a Pirtle. You keep hearing that, oh, Indiana would have traded for like a first round pick. You should have traded that first round pick unprotected, unprotected first round pick for a Miles Turner. Like you should trade 2 picks for Miles Turner. Because Miles Turner would have been perfect with this team at the time. Like it is what it is now, but like I don't know. And I don't think they ended it well. But Pascal is a top 5 Raptor of all time. Um he when people talk about the top 10 Raptors, Vince has to be number one because I think without Vince, we're like the Vancouver Grizzlies. We're not here no more. So I think Vince has to be number one. I go number two is Kyle. I go DeMar, and then I go Pascal, then I go Kawhi, then I go Kawhi. The reason I say Kawhi won us the title, but Kawhi won us the title, and I appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that. Thank you so much, Kawhi. Thank you. I definitely appreciate it. I'm just thinking more for nostalgia. These guys, stayed through the grind. They went through everything with us, and I just kind of I won't forget that stuff. Pascal, people, your 3 point shot wasn't the greatest. I'll definitely admit. But Pascal, man, you were a good player, man. You're still a good player. You seem like a good person as well. All I can hope for is the best for this guy. The whole him not aging well is ridiculous to me. I think it's a horrible argument to have because you paired him with a guy same age as Scotty Barnes, so they don't care about his age. Mind you, they just believe that Indiana's closer. Indiana's just closer. I think Toronto, you know, if they just grew this for the spicy BBQ era, it would have been really good. I think it would have been really good if, especially RJ took a step up. If we all believe that Scotty took a step up and Quickly took a step up, I don't see why Pascal wouldn't be easily a third or fourth guy on the team. Especially if you're winning. If you're winning, you frankly don't care. Pascal was a nobody, right? He was a nobody that became a somebody. I'm pretty sure he'd be easily like, I'll be the fourth option. I'll be the fourth. I don't care. As long as we're in a winning organization, I'm with Toronto, I would do it. That's the way he came across. So, Pascal, you will be missed greatly. I'm going to continue watching you. I'm definitely now the Indiana, every Toronto fan is an Indiana fan now. Um, I hope every day that everything just ends up okay. I hope you somehow take a discount and come back to Toronto. I'm not gonna lie, I really do. Pascal, thank you so much, man. Pascal, thank you. You won a title. The bubble was hard for you, but if you were who you were today at the bubble, we would have honestly made to the finals. And yeah, it would have been really good, man. It would be really, really good. But for those guys, sports, it's your boy Mike. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna get some people on the pod next week. For sure, for sure. Probably Jamar if I can get if these guys are free, Jamar, maybe Vivek. But yeah, man, it was nice to wear it when it lasted. So peace and chicken grease and Pascal, Spicy P, Thank you once again, my brother. Thank you.